It's Saturday, 9:30 a.m. and we're back with 15 watches landing on the website. If you're new here, my name is James. I run Kibble watches here in Clerkenwell, London. And every single Saturday, 9:30 a.m. we release new watches on the website. If you missed last week's episode, we put 20 watches up, our biggest drop yet. That's definitely not sustainable every single week. It's just way too much to process. But it was really fun to do. And actually this 15 is being processed in the same week, because the week just gone, I would have been away, so all this is recording in advance. And Monday the 13th, the Monday coming up after this video goes live, I'm back to normal, so don't worry, shipments go out, everything like that. So hopefully in advance, thank you for your patience during that week. Now, if you do want to skip to a specific watch, let's say you're here just see this gorgeous yellow gold Polerouter, you can do so via the description. So every single watch you see is listed down there with a timestamp, as well as a link to the website where you can make a purchase, see the additional photos and details, book an appointment, whatever it is you want to do is all available there. And as always, remember, these are just an extension of the website. Please always read the website details, because we go into so much detail there with the full description, the points of mention, my personal note, the specifications, every single thing is there. So be sure to check that out if you are interested in a watch, and use this just as a extra bit where I'm just waffling about the watches, showing it up close in 4K and all that good stuff. Okay, before we crack on with the watches on the table, what's on wrist? I'm wearing a gorgeous Waltham Deluxe. This is part of the personal collection, and it's amazing how much watch you can get for not a huge amount of money if you really look around. This is one I actually sold in the past, and when it was offered back to me, I just had to keep it in the personal collection because I should have kept it the first time round. But yeah, really gorgeous reverse Cyclops over the dates. Beautiful twisted lugs. It's got an original buckle as well. It's just amazing. I absolutely love it, and it wears beautifully. Okay, so where are we going to start? We're going to start right at the back here with a brand I had never heard of, in all honesty, and I am pretty impressed with this. It's an absolute chunk of gold. This is a Villemont 18 karat white gold split second chronograph in 43mm. Now, one thing I have to state straight away, because this watch is over £10,000, is stripped down to just its raw gold, as in crystals out, movement out, dial out, all the things that aren't gold. This weighs 120 grams of just raw gold, which scraps, as of the time of recording this video, at about £8,000, which is absolutely mental. So there's about 8 grand of just raw material in this watch as of the prices today. So that's why it is priced where it's at. I just want to make that very clear, that obviously we're not going to sell it at scrap, because that would just be insane. You could scrap the watch and sell all the parts and everything separately. I mean, you know, you got to keep these things in mind. But anyway, back to the watch itself, which is the most important part. You have this really wonderful dial with a great texture there, and the sub dials, as well as the outer ring, which is in like this orange, is actually like an orange mother of pearl. Really, really beautifully done, and very different and unique, especially with that texture in the inside. You have a power reserve down at 6 o'clock, running seconds at 9, 30-minute totalizer at 3, as well as a split seconds. So you have your traditional pushers with a start, stop and reset, but in the crown there's another pusher. When you push that crown in, it enables the split second, so it stops the first second hand, and the other second hand continues going. That's how a split second works. Very cool to see, and again, very unusual. So when you add all this up as a package, there's a hell of a lot going on in here. As we take a look around the case, you can see you've got brushing along the sides, a nice polished bezel, some polished chamfers, all 18 karat white gold. It is a big watch, and it is a big chunk of gold. The weight here is incredible. And then around on the other side, you've got these very interesting pushers which go with the flow of the case, as well as the sign crown, which is very easy to use with the pusher built into the crown itself for the split seconds. And then we flip it over. You can see an exhibition case back right here with a signed rotor, lots of blue on the inside of the movement, which is pretty cool. And this is actually a heavily modified automatic ETA 7750. And by heavily modified, I mean because you've got a power reserve, you've got split second chrono. There's a fair bit that's changed with this watch, and they call it a caliber VM102. This reference I won't bore you with because it's a super long reference. You can go see it on the website. We've got it paired on a aftermarket strap, but it is almost identical to the original strap, which is in the box, but quite heavily worn, and that is an 18 karat white gold signed buckle as well, so even more gold. This watch is from the circa 2000s with its box and paperwork. The paperwork isn't signed with a date, so that's why we just say circa 2000s. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist. So at 43mm, it's obviously not a small watch, but at 49mm lug to lug, it is wearable. And again, you know you're wearing it with that much gold. 16.5mm on the thickness and 21mm on the lugs. So yeah, go check out this absolute chunk of gold on the website today. And there's something quite nice about wearing a watch that the majority of the price you paid is actually in the raw material. There's very few watches and very few things in the world where that can be the case. So that's really cool. Go check it out today. Next up, we have a H.Moser Cie Pioneer center seconds in midnight blue. This is the 43mm model, and we currently have the tourbillon version on the website of this as well. But this is a reference 3200-1200 with that beautiful blue fume midnight blue dial. H.Moser Cie stated at 12 o'clock, those wonderfully elegant leaf hands and those applied indices with the lume pips around the outside. It's simple, it's elegant, and it's fantastic. And with the larger case size, whilst it obviously is bigger, that's by definition, you get more of that dial, which is only a good thing. As we take a look around the case, you can see a polished bezel, polished sides. It's got those interesting grille sides that we see on the Pioneer line overall. And then we flip it around to the other side, a signed screw-down crown with the M logo inside. Then we flip it over and you're presented with the gorgeous automatic H.Moser Cie Caliber 200, a beautiful movement, and it has very interesting sort of proprietary screws on the balance for adjustment. So one thing I do want to quickly, it comes on its original rubber strap with sign buckle as well. And one thing I want to quickly say on this watch, and the reason it's priced so aggressively is because it is running about 25 to 30 seconds faster day, which is obviously not ideal, but because of the screw system, unless you give it to Moser, they can't just regulate it. No one can just regulate it without those Moser screws. And a full service with Moser is not cheap. So we've priced it as such. I just want that to be reflected. The watch works perfectly fine, but it is running fast consistently at 25 to 30 seconds a day. So that's your reasoning for the price. Hopefully that makes sense. This is from January 2018 with its box and paperwork ready to go. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 43mm by 51mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness and 22mm on the lugs. So go check out this awesome watch on the website today. Okay, now on to something really insane and amazing and not something you see often. This is a gorgeous 1920s, yes you heard that right, 100 years old, universal watch, 18 karat gold mono pusher chronograph in 41.5mm. Where do we begin with this? Well, obviously it's essentially a converted pocket watch, right? But done by the brand at the time. So you have two hinges for the front case and the back case. The mono pusher for the chronograph itself is down at 6 o'clock between the lugs, and you have those gorgeous little wire lugs. Coming to the dial itself, you have universal watch stated there with Arabic numerals, outer red printing, and part of that printing has been redone at some point where clearly there was some sort of damage or something and someone's filled that in nicely. You have running seconds over at 9 o'clock and a chronograph seconds over at 3 o'clock. So to use the chronograph, you literally start, stop and reset all via the one pusher. You have a crown at 3 o'clock. As always, these have a little bit of sort of play in them, so it's best to push the crown in and wind forward. Obviously, as you get to full wind, you're going to know and you're going to feel it sort of slip. So just keep that in mind. You know, it's a 100-year-old watch. This isn't something you should be wearing every single day as your beater. This is something you've got to be a bit more careful with and just give a bit more slack as to what you expect, right? It's had a service with our watchmaker, so it is running really well, especially for a 100-year-old watch. But there's certain things you just got to expect. You've got to realign your expectation. This is a reference 240215. As we take a look around the case, you can see those hinges on the left-hand side, and we come around to the right-hand side, and you can see that very beautiful onion crown. As we flip it over, you can see a plain 18 karat gold case back. And what we'll do for the video is also open it so you can actually see everything on the inside, which is always cool to see indeed. So that is a manually wound universal 16.75 line mono pusher movement, which is actually very nicely finished for 1920s, and it's amazing to see just how much they utilized all the space inside the movement. It comes paired on a 16mm folding strap. Obviously something to keep in mind is those are 18 karat gold wire lugs, which are very thin, and you do need an open-ended strap to fit the watch. As I say, 1920s, it's 100 years old, it's crazy. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 41.5mm by 47mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness and 16mm on the lugs. It's really unique, it's really interesting. It's not something you're ever really going to see again like this, so it's definitely one well worth considering if you're into this sort of stuff. And again, price-wise, under £3,000 for an 18 karat gold 100-year-old monopusher chronograph wristwatch. I mean, that's mental. So go check it out on the website today. Next up, we have this wonderful IWC Ingenieur automatic 40mm aqua green. And as I record this video, I do also have the white dial on the website, but this is the aqua green. In some lights, it looks like this sort of tealy blue, which I guess is kind of the point of aqua green. So do just keep that in mind. It's one to ideally see in person so you can get a real sense of what that dial is like, and it is beautiful. Just like the white one, you have that incredible texture on the dial with that really wonderful pattern. IWC stated at 12 o'clock, Ingenieur stated at 6 o'clock with those luminous sword hands, date over at 3 o'clock, and luminous pointer indices with an outer minute track. Beautifully done. You've got this brushed and polished bezel with those sort of hex keys in there, which is very nice, hex screws I should say. And as we take a look around the case, you've got those brushed sides, polished chamfers, really beautifully finished, with a signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock. And as we take a look at the iconic Ingenieur bracelet with the brushing and polishing through the center, push buttons on the side to open up the clasp where the IWC folds in nicely. And then you have the quick link system where you push in the pusher and push it out the bar, and it means you can do it very simply without having to use like screwdrivers or push pins or anything like that. You do have a solid screw down case back right there, and beating away in size an automatic IWC caliber 32111. This is a reference IW328903. These are all referred to as the 3289s, the 03, 02, 01, so on are the different dial colours. And this one's February 2024 with its box and paperwork. It's short a couple of links, and we've stated this in the points of mention. It's always worth reading that. And it doesn't come with the link changing tools. So the white one we have, it has the little pushers that you can use. So this one you'd have to just use an alternative pusher basically, but it's still very doable. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 40mm by 45.5mm lug to lug, 10.5mm on the thickness, and 24.5mm on the integrated bracelet. So if you're after an Ingenieur, this is priced incredibly well and well worth considering because the dial colour is absolutely lovely. So go check it out on the website today. Okay, and next up we have a classic with the Rolex Datejust. This is the 41mm blue dial with the smooth bezel and the Jubilee bracelet, the reference 126300. As we take a look at the dial, you can see that really nice bright blue dial. In certain lights, when the lighting isn't great, it can look quite dark, and then in other lights, when the light hits it, it just becomes this super vibrant blue. It's beautiful. Cyclops over the date at 3 o'clock, baton hands and baton indices full of lume, the Rolex coronet at 12 o'clock, as you'd expect. You've got this nice smooth polished bezel with the polishing on the top of the lugs and the polishing on the sides of the case, with a signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock, and then the Jubilee bracelet, which is forever comfortable and super nice on wrist. I think it always looks great on a Datejust specifically. Then you have the folding clasp with the 5mm easy link adjustment on the clasp itself, as well as all the grooves on the inside to move it up to get a perfect fit. You have a solid screw down case back right there, and beating away in size the automatic Rolex caliber 3235. And this one's from October 2023 with its box and paperwork ready to go. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 41mm by 47mm lug to lug. My personal preference, as a lot of you know, is always going to be the 36, but the 41 does wear really well, and it feels and looks like a modern Rolex, which is what a lot of people want when they own a Rolex like this. It's 11.5mm on the thickness and 21mm on the lugs. So yeah, really cool watch, and to be honest, 21mm you can get straps, but it looks great on the bracelet, so go check this one out on the website today. Okay, next up we have a wonderful Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra in steel and gold. This is a really great example, and the gold is absolutely wonderful. It's got this like pinky hue, which is beautiful, but then we've got the dial, which is this white or silvery dial as they call it, with the lines on there, as you can see, creating a nice texture. All the hands and the indices are done in the same tone of gold as the bezel and the bracelet, which is beautiful. Lume on there, date placed nicely down as 6 o'clock. It's simple, it's elegant, you can't go wrong. You've got an 18 karat gold bezel, brushing along the sides with polishing on the twisted lugs, and an 18 karat gold signed screw down crown. Now this watch has had a light polish with our polishers, and it looks absolutely brilliant. You've got it on this 3-link bracelet with brushed steel on the outside and polished gold on the inside, with a push button clasp which folds open, and there are half links on this bracelet, so you can get a very nice and comfortable fit. As we take a look at the exhibition case back right there, you can see an automatic coaxial Omega caliber 8800, and this watch dates to December 2019 with its box and paperwork ready to go. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 38mm by 45mm lug to lug. Is perfect sizing for most people. 12.5mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lugs. I mean, it's great to have the two-tone bracelet as well, but if you think it's a bit much, pairing this on like a really dark brown or something like that, I think would look fantastic. So definitely play around with this watch if it's one for you, and a great saving on retail as well, as you'll see when you head over to the website, so go check it out. Next up, we have an incredible and very rare Gallet, and this isn't just any old Gallet, so let's take a closer look. This is the Gallet Flying Officer MK1, or Mark 1 as they call it, the Truman model, with the black dial in 34mm. Now, as you can see, that dial is absolutely stunning. It's actually a very early refinished dial, likely by Gallet themselves, and you can see over at about 4 o'clock some of the places are missing. Now, we don't know for certain, but I think it can be speculated that maybe there was a problem with where these watches were being imported to with the names of certain places, so therefore it was probably removed. Again, we can never know that for certain, but I think that's probably the case in this one. But it is a absolutely gorgeous example. Beautiful sword hands, loom on the dial, as you can see, loom in the center chronograph seconds as well, which has got this wonderful taper to it. Running seconds at 9 o'clock, chronograph minutes at 3 o'clock, Gallet and waterproof stated right there, because this is one of those clamshell cases where the screws in the back, and we'll get onto that in a second. You got all of the well-timed places around the outside, including places like Calcutta and Bombay, so very cool to see some of these names. A steel bezel, which does rotate, it doesn't rotate. You've got 12 in red and all the other numerals in black, and it's called the Truman because Truman actually wore one of these. Is where it gets its nickname. Now, as we take a look around the case, you can see brushing along the side with drilled lug holes and a crown at 3 o'clock with pump pushers for the chronograph, and it works beautifully. And then we take a look at the bracelet. This is a super cool Gemex bracelet made in USA. So you've got that sort of almost like a shark tooth fixed part of the bracelet with these beads running all the way through. And then as we lift up the clasp, it also has a glide adjust, which is super unique, and you actually push the end of the bracelet, and hopefully I'm showing it on video, to release the spring to allow it to glide up and down. Very unique, probably one of the earliest of this kind of iteration of a glide adjust. This is a reference 67436, and as we take a look at the case back, this is where you can see the screws in the lugs that hold the clamshell construction together. Now, if you go on our website, you will see additional photos where you can see this taken apart and how that actually looks, and the dial up close as well, which is absolutely beautiful. Beating away inside this is a manually wound Venus caliber 150, and this watch dates to the circa 1940s, so incredibly early. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 34mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, 11mm on the thickness and 18mm on the lugs. I mean, these do not come up often at all. So to get one of these in, especially an example like this, is a real privilege. So please do check it out on the website, see the photos, read the description. It's so cool. So yes, go check it out. From a 1940s Gallet flying officer to a 1970s Gallet flying officer, often referred to as the 4th generation of the flying officer in 36mm. So as we take a look at the dial, you can see you've got the updated Gallet logo at 12 o'clock with the hands in the logo itself, which is really cool. Flying officer stated down there at 6 o'clock, and you can see the same sort of design similarities right there with the outer ring with all the places around the world, inside Arabic numerals, running seconds at 9 o'clock, chronograph seconds at 3 o'clock, and those interesting sword hands as well. As we take a look around the watch itself, you can see you've got the same style steel bezel with the red 12 and everything else stated in black, and this one does rotate. As we take a look around the case, you can see polished sides and a crown at 3 o'clock with similar pump pushers there for the chronograph itself. As we flip this one over, you can see a brushed plain case back, and powering this watch is actually a manually wound Landeron caliber 149, and as I say, this one dates to the circa 1970s, so a lot later than the 1940s one, but still very similar in its design, and quite rare in the black dial as well. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 36mm by 44.5mm lug to lug, 13.5mm on the thickness, and a lot of that is in that heavily domed acrylic crystal, and 18mm on the lug, stainless options for this one. But go check this watch out on the website today. Okay, now it's time for some wonderful Grand Seikos, and we're going to start over here. This is the Grand Seiko Heritage Collection 45GS limited edition of 1,200 pieces, and it's the reference SLGW005. And as we take a look at the dial, it looks exactly like the vintage model in the 45GS range, with the Seiko stated at 12 o'clock, GS at 6 o'clock, with Hybie 36,000 stated underneath that. Beautifully finished sword hands and beautifully finished baton indices with incredible facets to them. They just play with the light as we'd expect from Grand Seiko. Outer minute track, and the dial itself has actually got this sort of cream tone to it. It's very beautiful. Then we take a look at the case. Polished bezel, polished lugs and sides with brushing on the top as well. Really beautiful angles all around. Exactly as we'd expect, and then a signed crown at 3 o'clock with the big GS logo, and it's a big crown as well, which makes operating super easy. Then we flip it around, and it's the second star of the show. This is the manually wound Grand Seiko Caliber 9SA4, which features a power reserve and a really cool click spring as you wind. You can see it going up and down, really cool and unique, and beautifully finished as well, especially at this price point. As I say, this is limited to 1,200 pieces, and this one's from December 2024 with its box and paperwork paired on its original Grand Seiko strap with a signed buckle. This is actually one of my favorite buckles as well. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist, 39mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, only 10.5mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lugs. It wears beautifully, as you'd expect. And if you're a fan of the vintage one but want those modern touches, this is definitely the one for you. Obviously, it's a lot more expensive than most of the vintage ones, but yeah, well worth checking out. So go check it out on the website today. And now over to another fantastic Grand Seiko. This is the Grand Seiko Spring Drive White Birch, as everyone will know it, in 40mm. The reference is the SLGA009G, and you have that incredible white birch texture on the dial, which is just to die for. I mean, look at it. It is beautiful. Grand Seiko know how to do a dial incredibly well. Grand Seiko stated at 12 with an applied logo, and those incredible hands, which are finished beautifully. And again, when you look at them up close, you really just see how that perfection is made. A blued second hand, beautifully finished indices as well, which are nice and bold. Date over at 3 o'clock. And yeah, just beautiful. Spring drive, 5 days stated at 6 o'clock as well. As we take a look around the case, it's a mixture of brushing and polishing and beautiful chamfers and edges. Again, we would expect nothing less from Grand Seiko. Drilled lug holes to make strap changes nice and easy. And signed screw down Grand Seiko crown at 3 o'clock. Again, nice and big to make using super easy. It comes on its wide sort of free link bracelet, which is all brushed, which is very nice indeed. And a push button folding clasp. You do have smaller links as well to make getting a good fit quite easy. And as we take a look at the case back right there, you can see a automatic spring drive Grand Seiko Caliber 9RA2, which actually features a power reserve and a 5-day barrel as well. So an incredible movement for sure. This one is from February 2023 with its box and paperwork ready to go. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 40mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness and 22mm on the lugs. It wears great on the wrist. You definitely know you're wearing it, and not in a bad way. So go check out this incredible watch on the website today. Okay, now for some more vintage, and one I'm very excited to bring to the website. This is a gorgeous Universal Geneve Polerouter Deluxe in 18 karat yellow gold with that 18 karat gold dial as well, as you can see. This is specifically a reference 10357-1 dating to circa 1956. And as we take a look at the dial, you've got that gold dial with the gold hands and the polished gold outer minute track, which is just incredible. Applied universal logo at 12 o'clock. Polerouter Deluxe stated there as well, and automatic micro rotor stated at 6 o'clock. As we take a look at the case, you can see the mixture of polishing and brushing with those incredible twisted lugs that the Polerouter is very famous for, and a sign crown at 3 o'clock as well. As we flip the watch over, you can see a sticker over the case back, and the reference and serial still very sharp and very clearly visible, which is always nice to see. And then beating away inside this is an automatic micro rotor Universal Geneve Caliber 215, an absolute workhorse movement, and you can see the photos of that movement under the additional photos on the website. Currently paired on a Watch Gecko strap, which is very snugly fit, so it is squeaking at the moment, which might sound a bit silly, but as you wear it in, it will be completely fine. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist, 34mm by 42mm lug to lug. It just wears effortlessly. 9mm only on the thickness and 18mm on the lugs. These 18 karat gold Polerouters are being snapped up so quick, so if this is still available, I'd highly recommend adding it to your collection because it seems like interest is only growing and people are realizing even at these higher prices, there's still such good value for money. So go check it out on the website today. Now on to one I've been very excited to bring to the website. We've just been waiting for the repair to be finished and I'm so glad it is because here it is. This is a gorgeous Bublin Ipsovox alarm by JLC in 36.5mm, a reference 855. So as we take a look at this dial, you can see Bublin stated at 12 o'clock up there with Ipsovox stated on the inner ring, which rotates via the top crown, and that ring is to set your alarm. As you can see, you've got the little alarm or timer logo, I should say, at 6 o'clock on that disc. In a minute track, automatic stated, gold baton hands with beautiful baton indices with onyx, and a date at 3 o'clock. As you can see, it is a JLC Memovox, essentially, just made for Bublin, called an Ipsovox. Really, really cool, not something you see often at all. And as we take a look around the case, you can see this heavy capped gold-plated case, probably one of the heaviest gold platings I have seen, and the case is in wonderful condition. We've got a JLC sign crown at 4 o'clock, that is for setting the time, and obviously changing the dates. To do so you have to go around 24 hours, and you can do the semi-quick, which is where you go back to sort of 8 PM and go forward to 4 AM and go back and repeat that to change the date. The unsigned crown at 2 o'clock is for the alarm, and as we take a look around at the case back, you can see a screw down case back. You can see the little sort of mark there on the case. That's actually where the hammer is, and it's how they fit the hammer to the case. And beating away inside this is a rare bumper automatic JLC caliber K825, so you don't see this movement often at all. And what bumper automatic means is you feel you can essentially feel the rotor bumping around inside, hence the name. It's on a swing basically in a hammer, and it swings around and hits essentially a spring and springs back on itself, rather than a rotor on a central pivot or ball bearings where it spins full 360. Hopefully that makes sense. One thing you have to keep in mind with pretty much every JLC alarm is if there is zero power in the alarm, the hammer itself is free flowing, meaning you will feel and hear the hammer hitting the bar essentially. When you put one bit of sort of turn of power into the alarm itself via the crown at 2 o'clock, it holds the hammer in place because it has a charge. So you have to keep in mind this is all the way up until pretty modern JLCs as well, as I've spoken about many times. It's not a fault, there's nothing wrong with it, it's not broken, it's just the way it works. So if you don't want the alarm to go off, all you got to do is like 1 or 2 little clicks of the crown just to put enough power in to hold it, but not enough power to trigger a full alarm, and you're good to go. Circa 1960s, watch only, is paired on a really sort of old pigskin or sort of pigskin style strap, I should say, but it's very cool and looks great on the watch. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 36.5mm by 45.5mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness and 18mm on the lug, so incredibly wearable. And this is a great watch for someone who wants something a bit different, you know, something that people will recognise probably as a JLC, but when they look a bit closer, they're going to be quite amazed. So go check this one out on the website today. Next up, we have a awesome Breitling Superocean Heritage B20 44mm steel and 18 karat gold. As we take a closer look at that dial, you've got that really deep black dial with the rose gold on the inside for the indices, hands and applied logo. And the hands are those really awesome arrow and sword hands full of loom all around the outside. Superocean stated there in that wonderful text. I think that's just beautifully done. Date hidden away at 6 o'clock and nicely incorporated. And then you've got this black ceramic bezel with gold on the inlay for the indices and gold all around the outside as well. So that's the amount of gold you have in the watch. As we take a look around the case, polished sides with those big aggressive sloping lugs and a big signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock. This one does come paired on the black rubber strap, which is a cut to fit strap, and it does have a adjustment on the clasp as well, which is really nice and nifty and easy to use. Push buttons on the side as well. As we take a look at the case back, signed screw down case back showcasing UB2030. It's got a longer reference than that you can see on the website, but they're often referred to as a UB2030. Inside is an automatic Breitling caliber B20, and this one is from July 2020 with its box and paperwork ready to go. It has been worn, it has been enjoyed, and we can get it polished on request, so just let us know if you'd like that done. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 44mm by 54mm lug to lug, so it's a big watch. You certainly know you're wearing it. 14mm on the thickness and 22mm on the lugs, so go check out this awesome watch on the website today. Next up is a really cool ball watch. Now, I do want to just quickly say before we get into this, because I've had a couple of messages from posting this, me selling a watch doesn't mean I endorse what the brands say or do. Obviously, Ball have been quite outspoken with their political views. You know, to each their own, everyone has their own choice of politics. I don't necessarily agree with Ball and their politics, but I also don't think the watches, if they've already been purchased, should just end up in a landfill. I don't think they should just be disregarded. I think selling pre-owned is not an endorsement of the brand buying new. I think you should buy all your watches pre-owned. Of course I do, I'm a pre-owned watch dealer. So, you know, don't support a brand if you don't agree with them, but once they're pre-owned, it's already been done. It's already been purchased, the money has already been given to them. If you don't want to perpetuate that, don't buy the watches. Absolutely, it's your choice. And as always, hopefully it's very clear. I don't force people to buy watches. Buy what you like is what I always say. And if you disagree with the watch, don't buy the watch. It's as simple as that. Now we've got that out of the way, we can get onto the watch itself. So let's take a closer look. This is the Ball Engineer Master 2 Diver World Time in black in 42mm. You've got those classic tritium tubes on the dial, as you can see, and in the hands. It glows beautifully and the colour is absolutely incredible. I've always been absolutely amazed how they managed to achieve this. You've got a date at 3 o'clock, the day of the week at 6 o'clock, an inner bezel, 24-hour bezel, which rotates and you can use to set a second time zone, and then you have an outer rotating bezel for the world time itself, which only rotates one way, and obviously you can set that as such and use it as such. As we take a look around the case, you've got that coin edge bezel brushing along the sides and brushing along the tops of the case with a big signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock. And then we come to the bracelet, which is this oyster style bracelet with brushing and polishing, polishing on the inside, and a push button fold open clasp. You have screw links as well as half links to get a really good fit. And as we take a look at the exhibition case back right there, this is an automatic Ball caliber RR1501-C. This is limited to 1,000 pieces total, and it retails, I think, for about £3,000, and we're at pretty much half of that. So at that kind of price, from April 2025, I will add, with its box and paperwork, it is a very good price for what you get. Again, as long as you agree with the watch. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist, 42mm by 48.5mm lug to lug, 13.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. To go check it out on the website today. And I want to just say I'm not making any light of anyone's political beliefs or choices. At the end of the day, I think you should be entitled to believe and do what you wish, as long as it doesn't hurt or harm other people. And watches, at the end of the day, I personally think they are a good distraction to everything going on in the world. They're a hobby at the end of the day, and I wish it would stay that way. You know, sort of keeping politics out of it. But that being said, I am very political. If you've ever been in the office and spoke politics with me, you'll know where I stand on politics. And yeah, I'm not opposed to talking about those things. I just think in the videos where it can get quite heated and unnecessarily pointy and shouty, especially with rhetoric today where it's at, which is very sad and sort of sad to see, I think we can just focus on the watches. And after that, let's lighten it up a bit with a Spinnaker watch. And this is a really cool and fun watch with second. I always get told I butcher that pronunciation, so I apologize. But here it is. This is the 50 Phantoms 42mm limited edition of 670 pieces. This is one of the first generations. Really fun dial, as you can see. Spinnaker stated right there, 50 Phantoms, and it has 50 ghosts on the dial with no feet stated at 6 o'clock. In reference to the fact ghosts have no feet. Very fun indeed. Cathedral hands with that sort of goldeny faux patina and those indices around the outside as well. You have this this sapphire bezel, which looks like an old Bakelite bezel, very nicely done. And then you have brushing with polished chamfers around the side and a big signed screw down crown, onion crown at 3 o'clock. As we flip the watch over, you can see an exhibition case back right there with a ghost on the rotor itself. Again, really fun and definitely a nice sort of change to the seriousness of watches sometimes. And that is an automatic Seiko caliber NH38. Comes paired on its original black Tropic spinnaker strap with its signed buckle, and it's from circa 2023 with its box and paperwork ready to go. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 42mm by 51mm lug to lug, 12.5mm on the thickness, and 20mm on the lugs. So go check out this awesome watch on the website today. So there we have it, 15 awesome watches in this week's drop, and I'm very excited to bring you next week's drop next week. There's some really great pieces in there as well, and again some more affordable pieces. As always, I try and bring them in where I can, but at the same token, getting some of the more expensive watches on the website is definitely always a priority, but I want to make sure we still get some interesting affordable bits in every single week as well. So as always, let me know down in the comments what's your favorite from this week's drop. I think for me it's actually going to be the Polerouter. It's absolutely beautiful. As always, I can justify every single watch on the table, so I look forward to hearing what is your favorite, and we'll see you all again next Saturday for 15 more watches. See you soon.